Never a day goes by without us discovering one new form of injustice against Ndi Igbo in Nigeria, against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, one new form of witch hunt, witchcraft, selective justice going on in Nigeria. And this one is as regards Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I just made a new discovery. Yes, I made a new discovery during my research that shocked me. And that goes to show the level this country called the zoo has sunk in or will go to make sure that they ostracize or cage or disenfranchise Ndi Igbo. Do you know that the United Nations have a law, and this law, every country in the UN is a signatory to it. This law is called the Mandela Law. It borders around prison reforms and prison, activities. The law states that a prisoner must be sentenced to a prison close to his home or close to the area that his family and friends can easily visit to aid rehabilitation and, of course, therapy and bringing that prisoner back to society gradually. That law was brought about so that countries will not take advantage of the fact that they sentence prisoners to throw them to places, that they can never have access to their, family, thereby radicalizing them, and punishing them, above the law. It was done purposely. So the UN, in its own wisdom, came out to make sure that countries do not take laws into their hands by further punishing or witch hunting, convicts by sending them to remote places, that can even be dangerous to their lives. That law is called the Mandela Law. And I'll read it to you. So whatever you're doing, please stop it and focus on this video because you don't want to miss a bit what I'm about to tell you. The United Nations Nelson Mandela Rules, the UN Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2015. Listen, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2015. That means every country adopted it and is in force. Contains the clearest international statement on keeping prisoners close to their families. Here is the exact rule. The UN Nelson Mandela Rules, Rule 59, quoted verbatim. Rule 59 says, and I quote, "Prisoners shall be allocated to the extent possible to prisons close to their homes or their places of social rehabilitation." What does this mean? It means that the UN expects countries to place prisoners in facilities as near to their families or support networks as possible, unless there is a strong reason not to. This rule is based on the idea that maintaining family ties supports rehabilitation and reduces recidivism. Now, related rule. Rule 58, Section 1 says, quote, "Prisoners shall be allowed, under necessary supervision, to communicate with their family and friends at regular intervals. A, by corresponding in writing and using, where available, telecommunication, electronic, digital, and other means, and also B, by receiving visits." This reinforces that family contact is a right the UN considers fundamental. All these things you're saying, it all boils down to that fundamental human right that the UN is trying to protect, as every country swore to protect, and every country also has such, in the constitution that says that the fundamental human right is the prerogative of government itself. Now, having read this to you, has Nigeria kept to the agreement of the UN as regards prisoners, welfare? Sending Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto State, does it show that Nigeria values the welfare of its prisoners or its citizens? Definitely not. In fact, this goes to show that Nigeria does not value the life of a human being, because Abia State is where Nnamdi Kanu hails from. And if you want to rehabilitate, let me assume you want to rehabilitate Nnamdi Kanu now for, convert him from being, what you said he is to what you want him to be. Is it not when you put him close to his family, that his family, he sees his wife, his children, his village people, and people that love him, even his state, leaders can also come and talk to him and try to, make him to see reasons for whatever you want him to see reasons for. Is it not easier for it to be done close to Abia State. Sending him to Sokoto, do you think it will be more harm than good? The purpose of a prison is to rehabilitate people, is to correct people. That's why it's called correctional facility. Correctional, not actually a cage where you want to kill or punish people. It's a correctional facility. And the UN, of course, is saying that every country under the UN General Assembly has ratified this law. And according to the law, it means that everybody there, every country there, should make sure that they prioritize, the well-being, the psychological, person, the rehabilitation of people who are serving sentences. Very simple. There is no debate about it. To send Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto was very vindictive. It had nothing to do with the law. It had nothing to do with Nigerian law or the UN law. It had nothing to do with any law in the world. It just had to do with wickedness. Pure wickedness. The only thing I see here, which I always say, is that Nnamdi Kanu, being a prophet, anywhere he steps his land to, will always turn to gold. That's why Sokoto State is a pilgrimage. But apart from that, Joseph went to Egypt and made Egypt, a home. It does not mean that throwing him away from Israel was the best option. It doesn't mean that. It just means that because Joseph is a blessed child, he turned, adversary into opportunity. The same thing with Nnamdi Kanu. Perhaps if it wasn't Nnamdi Kanu or somebody who is blessed by God or inspired by God, what would the person have been doing now in Sokoto? This kind of wickedness created by Nigeria will lead nowhere but anarchy. We will not lead anywhere but anarchy. That is why the country is divided. Terrorism is everywhere. Insecurity is fueled. Nobody is enjoying the country. Everybody is tired. Is tired because of the wickedness perpetuated by the government. There is somebody we are not mentioning in this trial, and somehow he has managed to elude criticism. He has managed to hide while other people are taking the cane. And that is no other person than Nigeria's Attorney General of Federation by name of Lateef Fagbemi, SAN. That is the Attorney General of Nigeria. I'm calling him out today because under Nigerian Constitution, all those while Nnamdi Kanu was in trial, he was the one that had the power to end that trial, because under Nigerian Constitution, there is something called nolle prosequi. And that can only be done by the Attorney General of the Federation. It means, the nolle prosequi means that the AG will discontinue trial on criminal matters. He has the power to say, we don't want to prosecute this person again. But where was he all those while? People have been quoting it, calling him out to do it. But they refuse to do it or say a word. People are calling this cabal, that cabal. He is also part of the people because he is the one taking Kanu to court. He is the AG. He is the one that employed Awomolo, the FG lawyer. That is the FG lawyer, Awomolo. Then AG is the main FG lead lawyer, the son, Lateef Fagbemi. Why Awomolo is the lawyer for the FG lawyer, who is Lateef Fagbemi. Understand it. So Lateef Fagbemi is the main man. He's the chief prosecutor of Nigeria. Anybody that Nigeria takes to court, whenever you see Federal Republic of Nigeria versus so and so person, just know that that person that is FGN is Lateef Fagbemi. He is the FGN. That's it. Representing Tinubu, representing Nigeria. So he is the one that could have. Not now, because it has left the court. He could have ended the case. Now you may ask, but he's working for Tinubu. That is where Tinubu comes in. Because even Tinubu, even Fagbemi, all of them are the ones who sent Kanu to prison. People should not come and say, but it was Buhari that brought, that brought Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. Tinubu just inherited it. Tinubu inherited and prosecuted Nnamdi Kanu. That Nnamdi Kanu is in Sokoto prison now, it is Tinubu, Lateef Fagbemi, Tinubu himself that put him there. Now we're talking about pardoning Nnamdi Kanu. Tinubu pardoning the person that he put in prison. Why would you put him in prison in the first place? Is it not to free him before he got to the prison? These people know how to scatter somebody's head. You see, when somebody starts having, dada now, they will say, you took over a case from Buhari. End the case now. It's not your problem. Nnamdi Kanu has nothing with you. You bought the case. You bought it. You took over the case. You now even enforce the case and make sure that the case got to judgment stage. And you are putting fire on the AG. Because the AG can't do anything without you as Tinubu. You are the leader of the case. You are the one taking Kanu to court as the commander-in-chief. So the AG cannot on his own just go one day and say, I want to sign Nole Prosecute. I want to stop this case. He doesn't have that power. Mostly in a high-profile case like this. If he has to do with smaller cases, no problem, he can do it. But Nnamdi Kanu is a national issue. Tinubu is the only one who would have ended this case in the court. In the court. In the court. Why did he not end it in the court? Why did he not tell the AGN, the AGF, to end the case? He was just staying there, watching, staying back. He was just sitting down and watching. Everything going on, he was just watching it. Even pushing the thing, pushing it to go further. And now we are trying to see how we can grant pardon to Nnamdi Kanu. What kind of pardon would that be, self? What kind of pardon will Tinubu bring out now that will not have conditions? Release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. That is simple. Unconditionally. I don't care what you call it. Call it whatever you like. If you like, call it pardon. If you like, call it release. If you like, call it whatever. But there should be no condition attached, politically or otherwise, to his release. And I trust Nnamdi Kanu. He's on oath. He will never sign away the life of the people. He will never sign any agreement that will cost him his name, his gifts that God gave him, his position as the leader of Igbos. He will never sign it. So if you want to pardon Nnamdi Kanu, better go ahead and pardon him for your own way, because for him, he did nothing wrong. But because that's the name you will call it whatever name you want to call it. Just open those doors, let him go. Let him go in peace. Whatever you gain from it is your luck. If you listen to the Kanu and Biafrans are happy and they vote for you or whatever you want, no problem, you have luck. That's your luck. But not that you listen to the Kanu to go now and campaign for you. That's not going to happen in our lifetime. It can't be reduced to such. Nnamdi Kanu is a leader. First of all, he can't even take sides. Second of all, he has no business in this nonsense contraption called Nigeria. He doesn't even need it in the first place. It's no more working. He has fought for one Nigeria. He has fought and he has seen that there is nothing like one Nigeria. But all of you here, but all of you in government, all of you are still fighting for one Nigeria because of what you are gaining. Nnamdi Kanu said, whenever you see them fighting for one Nigeria, it is because of what they are benefiting from it. And I will end with that quote. And I will end with this quote. And I will end with that quote. So let's see you next video. Peace.